Hello everyone and welcome back to Talking About Stuff with Nick. I'm your host Nick. Feels good to say that after a while. It's Boxing Day right now, isn't it? Yeah, Boxing Day. Christmas was good. Yeah, I've had a haircut, so I'm like happy. um, but yeah, today we don't have much stuff to talk about because I really want to focus my energy on one specific thing. So it's a kind of review sesh, kinda just me ranting about a certain game which came out on December 10th. I was gonna do a stream before Christmas, but I couldn't get my microphone to work, so I ended up sounding like a tin can, which is not fun. But yeah, today we're gonna talk about Jeff Keighley opens up about The Last of Us 2 Game Awards Backlash. I didn't stream the Game Awards. Do you know why? Because it was at 4 a.m. and I'm not going to waste my time waking up at 4 a.m. on a Friday. Was it a Friday or a Saturday? And just watch this shit. I'm sorry. I have better things to do, like sleep. Plus my sleep pattern was really fucked. So I kind of wanted to just sleep and rest and recharge. I was going to do one the day after, but I didn't because I genuinely forgot and I didn't really have much to say. But it wasn't as iconic as last year because of coronavirus, innit? Oh shit, can I still say that, or YouTube shadow ban me? Or okay, Jeff Keighley opens up about the Last of Us 2 Game Awards Backlash. It's because I see the part in it and I just want to say part 2. Right. Jeff, everyone's thinking that Jeff had a plotting behind the reason why The Last of Us won quite a bit of the awards. It won accessibility, I think, and I appreciate that because no one talked about this. I don't know if anyone talked about this, but Last of Us 2 had hella accessibility options, and I myself do not have any problems with my eyesight or hearing or stuff like that, or any motor difficulties. But I saw how they put lots of effort into making it a fun experience for people who do have such difficulties, and I really do appreciate that. So they deserved to win that because they did put hella effort into it, and they didn't just be oh, we put subtitles in it and we turn off vibrations if you don't have vibrations, like some AAA developers do. Oh god, we're gonna talk about him in a bit, aren't we? Le Cyberpunk. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Anyways, the Game Awards 2020 showcase broke even more records this year and had no shortage of surprise reveals and guests. There was meant to be a Silent Hill reveal. There wasn't. I'm ready to throw hands with someone, I swear to God. We recently sat down with the man behind it all, Jeff Keighley, to learn more about what goes on behind the scenes of a showcase of this size and some of the backlash that comes along with it. Remember when everyone thought that Death Stranding was gonna win last year because Keighley's best friends with Kojima? Everyone kept thinking that. I remember when it was on, I just had Twitter open or something. I don't have a Twitter account, but I just had it open on the Game Awards and stuff, and people were tweeting just saying, "Oh, I bet Kojima's gonna win." I'm just sat there I mean, it's funny. I thought they were just saying it as a joke, but they did actually think that Keighley would kind of set it all up so Kojima would win because they're best friends or something. And yeah, Keighley just really loves flexing that on everyone and every human being, even people who don't even know who Kojima is. He's like, "Hey, my best friend's Kojima," and I'm like, "All right, that's lovely, mate." It's the same with Reggie. When people last year as well were talking about "Oh my God, Reggie's here, Reggie," and you're just "Yeah, we know." You can calm down. Okay, but let's get back to this. The gaming community is never without controversy, and the Game Awards is not exempt from that. Last year, one conversation surrounding the showcase involved a perceived personal bias towards Death Stranding. See what I mean? This year is about The Last of Us 2, both in terms of awards it's won and developer Naughty Dog's approach to crunch. Oh god. I don't like when people say crunch is a necessary evil, because it's not. Because it puts people off their jobs, okay? And like if you and don't do a naughty jog, naughty dog, and get everyone who worked in the company on the first game, like, you know, get them to like leave or get them fired. Perhaps there has been rumors of people getting fired from Naughty Dog because of like how they act, aka they're not working quote unquote hard enough, which is like, okay, and get them to leave or be fired, but then leaving only maybe like not, I don't want to say amateur because that's rude and I could never code for a game or like design for a game, but leaving those who are not as experienced as the people who were there previously. That's a nice way of saying it. It's the same with the writing as well. Should we let's just talk about The Last of Us 2. Fuck it. So did I like the game? Yes. As a game. Is there shit wrong with it? Yes. Did I like Naughty Dog? No. I do not like Naughty Dog for their politics and for how they act and for how they treated Amy Henning and Bruce Straley, I think his name is. Bruce Straley? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But yeah, the two writers who used to work at Naughty Dog, who were seemingly kicked out for unknown reasons. Well, Bruce Straley left, but Amy was kicked out, which was odd. Or did she leave? I think she left. And she was basically forced out the company. That's why I say kicked out. And Amy Henning was very determined on like trying to make a game which was fun and try not to push any politics, which in some cases may be a bad thing, in some cases may be a good thing, you know, because gaming can act as escapism, but also can act as a tool to express political views, good or bad, may I say. There have been games that have expressed political arguments such as neo-Nazism, the fact that global warming doesn't exist, etc., etc. Do I agree with these? No. Anyways, with Druckmann becoming the new co-president of Naughty Dog, I am very worried for the company, because Druckmann has this thing. Oh, we're gonna get to it. You know what? Let's fucking get the Reddit post up. Why am I getting so aggressive? Neil Druckmann, or as I like to call him, Neil Cuckman. Oh, it might not load, but I'm just gonna have to use my memory in it. That's fine. I'll leave that to load in the background. If it does load, it does load. But Neil, I think, when he worked on The Last of Us 1, initially, now this is going into a bit of history lesson with Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann actually made The Last of Us 1 where all the women died and Ellie was the only last one left. Okay? And, you know, it was misogynistic. It's great. Really great, isn't it? Lovely. A misogynistic game. But, you know, he changed it anyway, The Last of Us 1. The thing is, people always said that Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley working on the first game, they counterbalance each other. I'm not sure, because Neil Druckmann's only work is The Last of Us 1, which was great. Last of Us 2, he was working with some girl. What was her name? Like Haley Gross, I think her name was, and she wrote like one episode of Westworld. And I didn't watch Westworld, but like I don't know if Westworld was good. If Westworld was good, then screw me, because I'm an arsehole. But, you know, working with a writer who didn't have much under her belt, I apologize. She didn't have much substance compared to Neil Druckmann, who did work on the last game. You know, you may be thinking, okay, Neil Druckmann's going to take a lead on this. He's going to try writing quite a bit into this. He's going to be very, you know, whatchamacallit. He's going to try and stay as neutral as possible and, you know, try and, like, take the upper hand in, like, authority and command where the writing's going. Yeah? With Neil Druckmann, people say that he has this, like, feminist outlook, which is great, you know, good for him, you know. We shouldn't alienate that. We shouldn't think that was, like, a bad thing. But he has this thing, okay, this, like, I don't want to call it a fetish because that's rude. This, like, he has this thing with strong women beating up main characters of games. Notice how Abby beats Joel to a pulp with a golf club. Now, this is not me saying, I hate Abby, let's send Laura Bailey death threats. That's not me saying that, no way. I think Laura Bailey did a very good job playing Abby, but the writing for Abby, that's a whole nother story. I might get into that, but you don't know. But it's how Neil Druckmann kind of likes to see the male protagonist in pain, and that's just a bit like, that's I think could be a bit of a cheap writing thing, where like you want to pretend that like, oh, feminist power, but it's just like a really shit way. It's like when the bros, I'm gonna call them the bros, when the bros came for women, not for women, when the bros came for NetherRealm, because they made like Jade's boobs smaller, or Sonya's boobs, or like Kitana's boobs smaller, and they tried to make it a feminist issue, and it just was like, okay, it's just a bit weird, okay, just shut up, this is stupid, just play the game for fuck's sake. So with Neil Druckmann being a feminist, great, but it's just, with the stuff he's done, it just, is it feminism, or is it him hating on men a lot and wanting to see them in a weak position, or him, another theory, him kind of releasing his anger upon a character who was built by Bruce Straley as well, and like a lot of the old creative directors of The Last of Us Part 1, and saying it's a big fuck you because he wrote this new character and now this new character is beating the shit out of the old character. You know? Symbolic shit. So yeah. That's how I feel about it. But we're gonna carry on reading this article. That was a very big digress. And I'm holding a pen thinking I'm gonna write shit down. I will not. Okay. When speaking with Keely, I asked what he thought, what he thought about the recent conversation centering on The Last of Us sequel and how public may perceive a sweep of a celebration of the crunch. We shouldn't celebrate it. It's not a good, we shouldn't celebrate Naughty Dog for being dickheads to their company. Not just the crunch, let alone the other stuff. Please rewind to listen about the other stuff and how Neil Druckmann is a bit of a weirdo. Yes. I am drinking water. Right. Yeah, look, I mean, it's a healthy debate and discussion. What the fuck? Who says that? Like, crunch, really? Like, putting your workers' health at risk isn't a healthy debate and discussion. Like, what? You know, what fucking CD Projekt Red did with, like, the 6-day work week was a bit like, excuse me? Like, ugh, God. Regarding The Last of Us 2, however, the topic then moves to nominee allocation. There are a few aspects of this year's showcase that come to mind regarding pushback from fans. What role does the subculture surrounding a game play? What role does the subculture surrounding a game play into its consideration? 100% yes, cause like that shit matters. You can't give CD Projekt Red an award for being pro, like, pro everything when they were doing like transphobic shit like in the past with their tweets and shit. Okay, because like you gotta think about like how ironic that is. Like, ugh, Jesus. And then it comes back down to separating the art from the artist. But think about it, the artist had like a massive input into making the art. So it's just like, it's a fucking double-edged sword. It's weird. Oh my god. Then Jeff's just like, that I was rigging it for Konami and giving Death Stranding all of these nominations, and I just have to be very clear that I'm too close to this industry, because I'm working on the world premieres, I'm working on the sponsorships, and I just try to stay completely separate from that. But mate, you kind of love flexing that he's your best friend, so I'm sorry, but ugh, god. Jeff Keighley does say that it was a polarizing game, and it was. Whether you hated it or you loved it, this game's gonna be like remembered for years for causing so much fucking controversy. Last of Us 2 gameplay was, I loved it. I had no glitches, no crashes, no anything. Like, the graphics were really good. Day 2, Ellie's playthrough was like phenomenal, especially going into that Seattle park and meeting the Seraphites for the first time. Oh, just mwah, amazing. It was really good. Okay, hold on. I'm reading more into this. There were games like Half-Life. This game truly deserves amazing. Okay, this is Jeff Keighley still speaking. This game is truly amazing and deserves to be celebrated this year. There were games like Half-Life Alyx, I always say it wrong, where it was one of my favorite games this year. Wasn't even nominated for Game of the Year. So it depends every year on what happens. Oh my god, I forgot about Half-Life Alyx. Oh my god. I read it and I was like, that was a Half-Life game that came out this year. Quarantine's fucked me up, man. Like, I forget that games came out that were meant to be like so polarizing. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sick of 2021, please be nice to us. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, that that really shocked me. Oh, Jesus. Right. Yeah, I don't get why Half-Life Alyx wasn't voted. Was the story even good? I've heard people had loads of fun with it though. Like, the voice acting was very good. It was very good, wasn't it? Like, Alyx was very good, and I didn't play Half-Life, so I don't know any of the other characters, but I do know about what happened in episode 2. So yeah, that's why I didn't want to play Half-Life. Generally because it never finished. Like, I don't want to play games that I know will not finish. Like, plus, like, you'd be like, oh, what about episodic games like The Wolf Among Us or like Life is Strange? Yeah, but that shit finished. This shit did not. This shit stopped at episode 2 on a cliffhanger, and it made people wait for what? 12 years or something? Like, oh, that was horrible. We can never ever talk about waiting compared to fucking Half-Life fans. Oh, Jesus. This is back to Jeff. But I think what I will say about The Last of Us 2 is that we do our Players' Voice Award, which is 100% voted by the fans. And that started with 30 games. And the final 2 games that got the highest number of votes were, you know, the Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2. Ghost of Tsushima is really good. I really wanted to buy it, but I'm broke, so that's not fun. So it's not the fans aren't out there. What? So it's not that the fans aren't out there. Oh, okay. I was like, that's a weird sentence. And I think sometimes it's obviously controversial. I see all the Game Awards is rigged talk and all these other comments online. And sure, people can say it. They can say what they want. But there's no evidence to support that. I do think there are a lot of fans out there that really do care about the game. Sometimes it's like, oh, the critics are opposed to what the fans think. And a certain percentage of the fans, which if you look at our Players' Voice, that's why we do that, is 100% voted by the fans. And The Last of Us came second to Ghost of Tsushima and it's obviously there are a lot of fans out there. Oh, wait. Okay. Gosh, wait, hold on. I think I fucked up. Hold on. Last of Us won, didn't it? Yeah, it won. Don't lie to me. I'm scared that I'm fucking up. Yeah, the Game of the Year. Don't fuck with me. Tell me why. Oh, ain't nothing but a heartbreak. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky ongoing game. More like No Man's Sky. Bruh, this game broke and we needed to fix it. Ooh ooh. It's tough sometimes to just see people naturally assume there's some ringing or I was paid off by Neil Druckmann. It's so absurd, but people are allowed to have their opinion if they want. Why? I know we try to justify, but you know what? Like, there's always that little seed of doubt where people justify too much and they say too much. Like, oh no, Neil Druckmann did not pay me. What are you talking about? And you're just like, bruh, I see like the dollars like squeezing out of your pockets. Relax. Oh, it's so weird. With the conversation regarding The Last of Us Part 2 studio breaking out earlier this year, many wondered if a show celebrating celebrating games should be rewarding titles that succeed on the backs of reported crunch. Yeah, Cyberpunk's not gonna get any awards soon. Don't worry, love. The second point of the zeitgeist around a game and the studio and the culture. It's a healthy conversation to have. Yeah, because definitely what The Last of Us 2 brings up in its game thematically, I think is done quite well. Like, when it comes to, like, grief and loss and forgiveness and, like, vengeance and shit like that. But I'm sorry. No, shall I go into it? Fuck it. I had no connection to Abby at all. You can throw as many giraffes and zebras at me, okay, and her being a nice person and saving these kids, but what Mel said is you will always be a piece of shit, Abby. I'm sorry. You're not a piece of shit, Abby, and I saw you grow from that, but I just wish I saw more emotion from you, love. Like, I just wish I saw a bit more than just water sick when I saw your friends die, even though you were ready to kill your friends. Like, the 180, man. I just, that stuff. Oh, God. I just stopped talking about The Last of Us 2. But, oh, hello. But it's just, Abby, I can't sympathize with Abby when I've sympathized with Ellie. I know she was turning into a bit of a bitch for killing and becoming mental and, you know, unstable, but there was me rooting for her to get better. Okay, with Abby, you introduced me to her and I'm just like, who is this bitch? Like, if they just gave me a game of Abby and it was like a spin-off or something, Last of Us Seattle or whatever, I would 100% go for it. Like, and then The Last of Us 3 would be The Last of Us 2, and then I'd be like invested in both of them. But the fact that I was more invested with Ellie, that just shows that, like, how one-sided the plot is due to just time, okay? And time is very important when it comes to gaming and when it comes to, like, forming a connection. Also, they tried to do the thing where, like, they tried replicating Lev with Lev and Abby, Joel and Ellie's relationship, and I was just like, I mean, it's cute. Lev's awesome. Like, he's a cool guy, and Abby can be all right when you get to know her. But with Joel and Ellie, we saw this went over for a month, like a year, not even a month, like a year. We went through all the seasons. You know, we went through Joel getting injured and getting impaled and shit and all that. Oh God, you know, we went through all that. But they tried compressing all, like, the great set pieces and these great, like, predicaments for Abby and Lev into, like, the space of, what, 3 days? 2 days? And I just couldn't feel, like, connected to it, because it was just like, oh, shit, there's all this shit happening. But the game was good. Due to Keely's no friendship with Hideo Kojima and his role in the game itself, this is the Death Stranding thing, and how it was, like, present in everything. Which year was it that, hold on, wait, okay, was it 2019 or 2018? 2019 Game Awards. Was that when God of War won? Oh no, that was Sekiro. Okay, God of War was 2018, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, 2018 must have been God of War, right? Yeah, it must have been. Because I remember when everyone was getting really pissed off that like Red Dead Redemption was winning everything. And then people thought, oh, hello. Sorry, I was drinking water. Yeah, when everyone got pissed off and thought that Rockstar was paying Jeff Keighley as well. Everyone thinks that like companies come to Jeff Keighley and is like, hey, can you just like show off our game? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, there's also a nuance with these conversations that are often missing a limited Twitter character counts as well. One difference noted in The Last of Us versus the current CG Project Red situation. The Last of Us conversation is different than, say, the Cyberpunk conversation. Or Jeff Keighley, he was ready to like pull that out, wasn't he? Just to like, was he trying to like shift it away? Be like, oh, look at Cyberpunk, guys. Don't look at The Last of Us anymore. The Cyberpunk conversation that's going on now, where it's sort of like, you know, there are technical issues and challenges with that. The Last of Us, I don't think anyone would argue the fact it's immaculately crafted as a kind of story experience. It's just people have concerns around the character choices and story choices in that game. And look, I have my own opinions about that too, but there's no doubt there's a lot of craft went into making that game. Yeah, like, I like the little, you know, watch my gameplay through of it. I'll link it or something. Can I do that? Yeah, I can. But yeah, they did put effort into The Last of Us 2, and I appreciate that. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, I've said my piece. I can't say any more about it. Oh my god. Is this Jeff Keighley putting his own opinion on something? To further that point, he pointed out his own personal pick of Game of the Year, adding, I was personally bummed when Alex wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. I always have to divorce myself from the nominees and winners because I have no say at all. So, when we see the results, they are what they are. As the show continues to grow, as the gaming community itself continues to expand, there will be more hits and more misses along the way. The conversation surrounding celebrating games is important, but this year has been vital for our industry in regards to darker aspects of it coming to life. Crunch, abuse, assault, many truths are becoming to light about those issues and will bleed into any ceremony meant to celebrate this community we love. Yeah, fuck Ubisoft and the sexual assault cases, man. Like, Jesus. Anyway, moving on. Cyberpunk memes! Y'all got any more of them patches? Bad boy. Cyberpunk 2077. How it started. How's it going? How can they make such a sexy man like Keanu Reeves look like a man on meth? Like, Jesus Christ. No more delays are happening. Oh, they got this screwed up. No, comma, more delays are happening! Exclamation mark. A game that looks promising. It has Keanu Reeves. It has a customizable genitals. Oh, can we talk about this? Okay. Okay. So, a lot of people with penises, a lot of cis men have been getting, like, kind of insecure about the fact how that people have been labeling like the dicks. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at this, but I just found it funny. Okay, I'm a really shitty person, I apologize, but like, people are getting, you know, it's the same with some like bitchy women in the community. Not saying all women, but some bitchy women are very ready to just like make fun of men and their genitals for no reason, and like then call men out for being like, why are you all so closed and shit like that, when like sometimes women can cause such like offense but like, you know, as men we can't show it because, you know, fucking toxic masculinity and that, and that sucks. Okay, but with the genital thing, people getting really hurt about like how, you know, I'm really insecure about like, you know, how their dick didn't look like that. And like, all I want to say is it's a game, man. Don't let it get to you. If you just don't want to look at it, just like disable genitalia. That's like fine. Like, you know, disable nudity. And don't let like a video game dictate how big or small a dick is. Like, okay, they shouldn't. That game shouldn't validate your dick size, okay? Because like that's wrong. And you know, it's just I feel like I should have said that, because at the end of the day, like, don't let a game like this get to your head. Mike Wazowski on fucking. I love the internet on Shrek's body. Oh, it's amazing. Should we look at memes for longer? Yeah, I think we should. Customize your genital now. Yeah, I generally thought you could have like a laser dick or something, but we couldn't. So that really made me sad, man. Like, imagine if you'd like use your dick to like, I don't know, like laser someone, or like, you know, break a hole in something or shit like that. That'd be fun. For my chooms. Oh yeah, that's the slang. I thought it was like real slang. It wasn't. Chooms is fake slang. Twitter in shock as Sony removes Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation. So yeah, we know. Cyberpunk 2077 apology parodies. We have more important news regarding Cyberpunk 2077's release date we'd like to share with you today. Ooh, sorry lads, we need more time to polish. I need to stop looking at these memes. Let's get back to this. Now this is fucked up. Cyberpunk 2077 developer admits it's even misled your boy Sony and Microsoft when it would come to like how it ran on PS4 and PlayStation. Question: did they ever show gameplay on the base PS4? Because I swear to Bob they did it. No, I'm serious. Like, I thought they showed gameplay on like, I don't know. They showed gameplay on the PC. I remember that. And then I remember specifically in one of like the 1.5 hour like night CE things that they do, they were like, hey, this is it on PS5. This is it on like you know, PC. And I was confused because I thought, wait, where's PS4? But I didn't really think of it. Okay. But if they just wanted to make the game for PS5, they should have just said, like, I know people would be pissed off about it, but the fact it runs smooth on PS5, not even as well, because, you know, it's like missing like frames and stuff. I'm really bad with this shit. If you ask my friends, they know much more about it than me. But like, yeah, I just CD Projekt Red, not like they've been sued now, right? For like misleading. They've been sued, so they're fucked. It's like, that's embarrassing. Oh lord. Right, we're gonna read this, then I'm gonna like give my thoughts on Cyberpunk, because I have the game on a PS4 Pro. How's it running? All right, you know, like I haven't really had any like glitches or shit like that. Like I think I've had frame rate problems, but I don't realize frame rate problems unless like it drops to about like 10 frames. Like if it drops to 30, I never realize because I'm busy blinking or like trying to like step away from my screen. Oh, can we talk about that? The fact that they can't even get like 60 frames on like the base PS4 or the PS4 Pro. And here's the thing, on day one, I got it on day one. Yes, judge me. They didn't have epileptic warnings on that was so weird how I said warnings. They didn't have epileptic warnings on the game itself. So it just came out, and I have friends who have epilepsy and they wanted to play Cyberpunk, and I literally had to say to them, nah, because like it made my head hurt, and I haven't had any past like medical conditions with epilepsy or like any problems with it, but my head was killing me after playing it, especially during the brain dances, some of the effects as well. Like I like as soon as they like put settings to kind of disable the epilepsy, like the disabled like these also like almost epileptic like lights and stuff, these flashing lights and all these effects, I switched them straight off. Not fully off, but I've muted them. That's what you could do. You can mute them. I muted them straight away because like my eyes couldn't take it. Like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That was like, it was too much. Like my head was killing me. I had to like move my living room so I could like sit further back from the TV so I could play. I got on that. It was just, bruh, it's horrible. Okay, during a recent meeting, a CD Projekt Red boss seems to admit Microsoft and Sony were misled during Cyberpunk 2077's certification process. During an emergency conference with investors, CD Projekt Red executives said the studio is taking responsibility for Cyberpunk 2077's ability to pass Microsoft's and Sony's certification process, suggesting the company perhaps misled the platform holders, such as a candid response seems another example to potentially dubious circumstances under which the RPG released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles. I want to talk about this. So, Cyberpunk is a big example of how certification processes should be like regulated much more harshly. No offense, they should. Like, come on. I'd rather have like a game which runs well and comes out like a bit later than expected. I know all the memes came out about how like, oh, I can't take any more about, you know, the delays of Cyberpunk, but I'd rather have waited, you know, till the end, and like to the end of the year or something, and like we did to the start of maybe next year or something, and like if the game could run well and like my PS4 Pro wasn't crashing all the time when I played it. Not all the time, but it did crash multiple times, and that really pissed me off because like this game has made my PS4 Pro crash so many times. Like it's the most crashing game on my like in my library. It's like, oh god. But I'd rather have just waited for the game. And like I think many other, and you know, even though this highlights like, you know, one big game, other games have fallen into the trap of like passing these certification processes just so like people can get money for just publishing the game, people buying it, you know, and the investors get paid and all that shit. For example, Fallout 76, and you know, don't talk about that. It's getting better, but bruh. Or like, you know, No Man's Sky, and like how there was nothing to do, and like they promised all this shit and nothing happened, and it was just like, my god, man, it was just, yeah. But this game, I hope, is like a turning point for certification processes. The game's release quickly revealed why console footage had long remained under lock and key. Cyberpunk 2077 is essentially broken on base PS4 and Xbox One models, offering an experience unfortunately replete with game-breaking bugs, abysmal frame rates, and a whole host of other issues. So how did the game pass certification then? It appears the answer lies in assumptions and a lack of transparency. Very true. Very true. But here's one thing. I was so ready to just refund my game. I was literally going to be like, hi, can I just get my refund for Cyberpunk? But one thing like made me want to carry on and finish the game. And I haven't finished it yet, but I'm going to talk about it in a bit. In this morning's web call with investors, well, this was on the 15th when this was published, CD Projekt Red's board member and SVP of development, Mikhail Nowakowski, addressed a question concerning how Cyberpunk 2077 managed to pass Microsoft and Sony's certification progress. Nowakowski, I think that's how you say it. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. noted that full responsibility resides on the part of the studio. He told investors, in terms of certification process and third parties, this is definitely on our side. I can only assume that they trusted and that we're going to fix things upon release. And that obviously did not come together exactly as we planned. Fucking hell. I would rather they delayed the game. I know we all, as gamers, like, we lost faith, but the game already went gold. So if you delayed the game, like, much more, people would get pissed off, but at least you deliver a really good game. But the fact that the uppers, I don't know what they're called, but like the upper management who like have control over the developers, rushed them and forced this crunch and everything, caused all this. I want to say they should have never released, should have never had a release date, but it's just because it's a marketing technique, isn't it? Having a release date gives people the incentive to pre-order, and I think pre-orders shouldn't exist. Because for me, I pre-ordered it 5 days before it was meant to come out in November, and then it was delayed. So I was like, "Fuck, that was useless, wasn't it, Nick?" So yeah. While the blame does indeed fall to CD Projekt Red bosses who moved forward with Cyberpunk 2077's release on PS4, this whole situation also calls into question Microsoft and Sony's certification process. Exactly, yeah. These very same processes, whatever they may be, let other broken titles such as Aliens Colonial Marines. Don't get me started. Do not get me. No, we're not talking about that. And Fallout 76. Hi, I talked about that. Slipped through the cracks. Not to mention smaller games like Life of Black Tiger was sold on PSN and advertised on PlayStation's official YouTube plays despite releasing in a horrid state. Thus, it's a failure of more than just CD Projekt Red than PS4 and Xbox One players are currently unable to completely enjoy the game they recently spent $60 or more on. The whole process is just at odds with even the most basic consumer expectations, as Cyberpunk 2077 has shown. Yes, CD Projekt Red and other developers and publishers should only roll out their products when their product is fully functioning, but perhaps the platform holders should convene once more and ensure that the unscrupulous companies can't push fundamentally broken games past certification if they aren't ready for such a stage. That's why I don't want to instantly go, oh, the developers are lazy. Because I just think that's really rude, because at the end of the day, developers are rushed and developers want to just like get paid. I think after this, a lot of like people who work at CD Projekt Red are gonna leave. I will be very surprised if like for The Witcher 4 or something, there's like the same people who worked on Cyberpunk. I'd be very, very surprised. Oh, back to what I was saying about how one thing's convinced me to keep the game. So I'm on like halfway through Act 2. Okay. Major spoilers. If you are watching, please do not watch, because this is major spoiler territory. You know what I mean? Like, basically, I'm gonna like talk shit. Not talk shit. I'm gonna spoil Cyberpunk. So, only the first 2 acts. But yeah, please, if you want to play Cyberpunk, like, and you want to be like fresh-faced to it and have no idea what's happening, stay away, click away, not watch. But if you don't give a shit, hi, welcome, let's go. Okay, I'm hoping these people are gone. Please be gone. Right. The writing. that was a big like wait. Okay, yeah, the writing in this game, I love it. That's the only reason I'm keeping this game. Like, I genuinely thought Keanu Reeves was going to be in the game for about like 4 minutes and then just like go away or something. Like he dies or something. But he's stuck with you. He's basically a part. He's like the other protagonist. What's it called? The deuteragonist, I think it's called. But yeah, he's stuck in your fucking brain because of like the relic that you and Jackie stole. Oh, Jackie. Mi amigo. Oh, okay. Right. I'm going to get all emotional now. Let's go. I am pissed off that they cut content and gigs with Jackie, because I could not fully feel the depth of Jackie, but I loved that man so much. He was amazing. He was a king. He was an iconic man. But I wished we had more gigs with him, but they cut that shit out because, of time and stuff. So fuck you, Cyberpunk uppers. Suck your mum. But but the montage at the start was really cute. I loved it. And one thing I liked was when there's this mission called Heroes, and it's preparing for Jackie's funeral. His ofrenda. And you meet Mama Wells, and in this montage, you lived with Jackie and Mama Wells for a long time. So, you know, you become part of his family, and you are considered his family. So when Jackie dies, and V just V has the option to just deliver him to Victor, like a best friend of his, or just deliver him to like his mum's house. I chose to deliver him to his mum's house, and you know, and here's the thing, you know what V did? V was like, I think my V was in such grief by this that like he literally just like pushed himself away. Plus he was shot in the head as well. There's that whole thing with Dex betraying you and stuff. So there's that. But not Dex, but I think V was full of like so much guilt that he just couldn't see Mama Wells. So then when Mama Wells kind of called and gave V shit for, you know, not contacting or anything for like what? This is for another like, I don't know, like was it a year or maybe like you know, a little less than that, or maybe even more than that actually, but it was quite a long time after Jackie's passing. And you know, Mama Wells is like, what the fuck, V? You were like part of our family, man. Like you just deliver Jackie to my house and you don't even like come and do anything. Like, bro, what the fuck? And you know, that was like, that hit me because I was like, yeah, because I think my V was just trying to like get his cash, and like, you know, he's busy dealing with like Johnny Silverhand in his fucking head, like annoying the shit out of him, and like, you know, the relic being like the pressures and stuff like that, that like he generally couldn't focus and be emotionally available to like commit himself to this ofrenda and to this Jackie being dead. So when Mama Wells is like, hey, come see me at my club, we can do this ofrenda and stuff, and then it becomes a mission, you know, like go see Mama Wells, go talk and stuff. And then you got to get like an item from his garage. And what I love is environmental storytelling. Environmental storytelling is like really like, it always has a soft spot for me in my heart. It's the same with like Gone Home. I really loved Gone Home because like I just listened to the tapes and everything, and I looked around and I saw how like she really loved, you know, oh yeah, spoiler for Gone Home, how she really loved like, what's her face, the girl that went off to the army, and they both went off to the army together and stuff, and she had pink hair and stuff. Lesbian love story, I think. Yeah, it was a lesbian love story. And you know, I liked how there were like, you know, bits such as like, oh, some cases fall over, some hidden posters, some hidden magazines, you know, some mini passageways, you know, newspapers, lights left on the floor, books left open and stuff. I like that sort of shit. So when you come out, you like go outside Jackie's like little garage, his little house, you see his girlfriend Misty. Now we met Misty at the start of the game. Misty's like this like psychic chick. You all know this chick like in your lives. Like she's really into astrology and like mystical things, like cleansing, like tarot cards, you know. Not to shit on it, like it's that shit is like very soothing and like therapeutic to some, and I respect that. And like, you know, it provides people with like a sort of comfort, and I can't shit on that. And if I do sound disrespectful, I do not. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful. I respect that craft quite a lot. And even though Jackie was very like meh towards it, he still kind of like embraced it, because he's like, oh, my girlfriend just like wants to, you know, is paying attention to me, and like, you know, we're chatting and we're vibing. And that's like a really like subtle way of like just telling how their relationship works, how it's very like they focus on each other, but they're like two different people, you know. Jackie is religious, I think he's a bit religious, yeah. So when you see Misty and you go inside his garage, like you see all these like posters, you know, you see like his workout bench, and like how he has posters of both like strong men and like strong women working out and stuff, and that's like his inspiration and stuff. And I respected that small detail. And like how he had motorbikes, you know, he had like, you know, his like posters of hot women, and like, you know, that was sweet and stuff. Not, well, no, like he's got, not sweet, but you know, it's like, it's sweet how like he did it in like a respectful way. I don't know how to describe it. Like, they weren't just like his boobs, it was just like women, you know, sexually attractive women just doing things and vibing, and like, you know, but I love how like I think some of the posters kind of focused on like the motorbike itself. So it was like the chicks in the back doing something, but he's like, yo, motorbikes. I liked that. And Misty kind of tells you more about Jackie and like talks about him, because, you know, compared to like him and V's close bond, Misty and Jackie have a total different relationship, because, you know, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, weren't they? Yeah, they were. Like, I don't care what anyone says, they were. And we go inside like his proper room, and he's done this this like little mural on his table. And I thought that was like really sweet, because Misty even like gasps a little and like nearly starts to cry, because like she always thought that like Jackie wasn't interested in all this like tarot cards and mystical or spiritual stuff. And then she would always say how like you need to like cleanse the room and stuff, and you need to like, you know, get all the bad spirits out of here. And she always thought that it like flew over Jackie's head. But the fact that like Jackie was like making a mural for, you know, because Misty was just suggested it, kind of showed how like close they were, and showed how like, you know, Misty's words did resonate with Jackie, and that like was really sweet, 100%. And when you find something for the ofrenda, what did I use? I got the bottle of whiskey. The bottle of tequila was like the first ever one ever made or something. And I remember I like stood up and I was like, Jackie's a friend, you know, I loved him very much, and we should all respect him, and here's a toast to Jackie. I remember, like, I don't remember it exact, but it was very like powerful. I liked the acting in that scene, and the voice acting and everything. And then I go speak to Mama Wells, and she's like, oh, even that putita, which is like, I think derogatory in Spanish, like puta or something, like, is here. And my V, like, your V could either go, just leave it, and like kind of like diffuse the situation, but like I just was like, nah, you can't say that. Misty meant a lot to Jackie. Take her out to dinner and try like getting along, okay? She's like one of the last links to Jackie, and I respected that a lot. And then, you know, you talk around the bar, then you leave, and then you're given Jackie's motorbike. I ride that motorbike all the way, everywhere. I like, fuck the car that I actually have. Like, the motorbike is like so symbolic to me that I just ride it everywhere, and it's got me out of so many situations, and I love it. So yeah, Jackie, amazing. Mwah. Perfecto. I wish you had more time with him. But another thing about the writing is, with side missions, I always felt like they were always cut short and they were just like never fully finished. With side missions in this game, they carry on. They're very long side missions, but they finish in such a flourished, complete way that it's like beautiful. So even that mini side mission about Jackie, like, I loved it to bits, because your boy, I phoned up Mama Wells like after, and I was like, hey, how are you? And she's like, oh, you know, the usual and shit like that. And I was like, have you taken Misty out for dinner or something? Have you spoken to her? And she's like, yeah, she's a bit eccentric, but you know, she's a sweet girl. And I love that, like, I made that effect, because I could have just said leave it, and like none of that could have happened. But like now in my playthrough, Misty and Mama Wells have like started a bond, and they've created something. So yeah. What's another relationship? Okay, Evelyn and Judy. Okay, so Judy and Evelyn were just like these two people that I like was just like, oh, okay, they're just gonna help me with a mission or something. And Okay, trigger warning for rape, sexual assault, um, kidnapping, and suicide. So if you're not into that shit, just like press out now, or maybe I'll put a timestamp in the description of when I'll be done with it. I think I'm gonna like carry on talking about this till like the end of the stream. So like, sorry. I think I'll just I'll mention in the description when I talk about these topics. So I just thought Evelyn and Judy were just like, oh, okay, they're just there. You know, Judy was this really good net runner. Evelyn was like the owner of this club, you know, very charismatic, very elegant compared to Judy, who is very like rough around the edges, was very like, you know, technical and logical, and was very blunt with her use of words. And I liked that. Their synergy was really nice because like they both had a lot of respect for each other and knew like what their powers were, if that makes sense. Okay. So after being shot by Dex and Dex dying and Takamura saving you and saying that we need to find Evelyn, you call Judy and Judy's like, shit, I can't find her. She's been gone for days, V. What the fuck can we do? Turns out that Evelyn is a doll. This doll being like dolls in this universe are like sex dolls or like prostitutes. Like how it works is, how I've learned that it works is that like they have this body, this person who's like allegedly willing to like have their body used for sex, but they have uploaded to their brain, to their mainframe, is like a personality. So for example, when there's a mission where you have to actually talk to a sex doll about Evelyn, like she's called Sky, but like the actual the actual person who's like, you know, the actual body and like the mind of it is like this girl called Abigail or something, but her sex doll persona is Sky. Damn, I'm really talking about penises and sex right now. This ain't PG, bruh. It's rated 18. But Evelyn is that. But Evelyn is just Evelyn was part of the cloud and shit like that. So Evelyn got kidnapped and was used for sex by the Woodman. Yeah, the Woodman sold her off. This guy like in charge of this like big club at the cloud, so like sex dolls and prostitutes and all that. And they're called dolls, but if I refer to them as sex dolls, I'm not being like derogatory. It's just because that's how they're referred to in the game, and I apologize. But the fact that, you know, the Woodman sells her off and like she goes missing, and Judy's like, we gotta find her, man. And you go to this underground dealer, and like he's like, hey, here's this brain dance, and you look at this brain dance and it's like, oh fuck, that's Evelyn. And it's a really fucked up brain dance. Fortunately, you don't actually see it, but like people know what it is. Like it's really fucked up shit. Like it's disgusting. And oh, my music, it's gonna loop. Okay. Oh shit, how long have I been talking? For quite a long time, innit? Where was I? Oh yeah, Evelyn is... No, I need this to think. Okay. And Evelyn is just like, she's literally like, she feels everything. Because even though her mind has like another sex doll implant or like another sex persona, she's still there. Her soul is still there. She feels everything. So you find her all bloodied up, bruised and battered. And like her body is like fine, but she's got bruises and like kisses and shit like that. It's disgusting when I find out. And like you gotta unplug her and you carry her back to Judy's apartment. And a few days later you come back, you're like, hey, how's Evelyn doing? We still need her for shit. Like she's like, is she okay? And Evelyn, she's like, you know, her body's fine, there's nothing wrong with like her anatomy, but like she has PTSD. Like it's fucking scary. you know, she's not talking to anyone, she's not responding. She's voiced by Carrie Walgreen. Fun fact, I recognized her voice instantly when I heard Evelyn speak. But you know, Judy's like, I'm really worried about her. Like, I think her brain's really messed up and everything because of like all the shit she's been through. Like, I just have to keep an eye on her and stuff. And like, you can see Judy is like really fucking shaky. Like, you even see like the model itself, and this is what I like about this subtle detail. Like, she's like shaking her leg, her right leg, and like she's jittering it a lot. Like, she's anxious and she's scared because, you know, I think she really loves Evelyn. And she did, 100%. So a few days later, a few days later, I was doing just some missions for Takemura, and I get a phone call from Judy. She's like, "Hey V, can you just come to my apartment real quick? I'll let you in." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, something's happened." Like, I thought maybe like Evelyn had like been kidnapped again, or like she's malfunctioning as like a robot or something. I come in and I'm like, "Hey Judy, where are you?" And like I go to the bathroom and it's Evelyn there in the bathtub, and like she's like killed herself. And Judy's there, like she's a fucking wreck. She's crying, she's like blubbering, she can't do anything. She's like gritting through her teeth when she speaks. She's like so angry because she just left for 2 minutes to like get milk or something. And like she's there. The acting in this scene, like fuck. I got goosebumps everywhere. I was like, Jesus Christ. And their outlook on mental health is very good. But I'm not excusing CD Projekt Red yet. They've still got to prove to themselves that like they're not assholes. But how they approached the storyline was very good. But I'm very sad about how Evelyn did pass, and like Judy is kind of like alone now, which kind of sucks. But you never know. Oh, there was also this side mission, a very cute side mission. I think I might not talk about the scalpers today. Nah, I'm not going to talk about the scalpers today. Sorry. There was this last side mission of just this guy who didn't want to talk to anyone because, you know, he was a police officer. He had been through a traumatic experience, and like his teammates were just saying to him, his like other colleagues were just saying, "Oh, just man up, man, it's fine." And you know, that was sort of commentary on like, you know, toxic masculinity in the workplace, and you know how mental health can just be looked over, especially with people who are in roles of authority, because, you know, oh, they'll be fine, you know, they'll be fine, they'll just, you know, they'll wriggle out of it, they'll be fine. And this guy, you talk to him and you're like, "Hey man, everything okay?" He's like, "Nah man, I saw like a kid get shot, it was like horrendous, like he was all bloody and everything." And first time I fucked this up, so I spoke to him, I was like, "Oh, stay strong man," and I left him. And he's like, "Wait 4 hours before you can talk to Barry again." And then I waited for Barry, and I come back and I see his door is covered in blood, and this guy, Montgomery, maybe I think his name is, or like Montez, he's sitting outside his door, he's crying with blood all over his hands, like, "What the fuck did you do, man? Like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, we were trying to help you," showing that, like, you know, he broke down, you know, and he was the guy calling Barry out for his, you know, bullshit. And Barry also lost someone close to him. He called him Andrew, and Andrew was very close to him because, you know, he was close to his grandma, and when his grandma passed, he used to always talk to Andrew. And Andrew passed away, and then Barry just felt like he was alone. That's another important part. So I was like, "Oh shit, I've genuinely got to save Barry." So I literally reloaded, and like I just went through all the talking options again, as in like the dialogue options, and I saw it was like, "Hey, do you know where Andrew's buried? Maybe I can like get something from it from you or something for you or something." And he's like, "Oh, he's just buried there. If you want to go have a look." He's like, "Oh, okay." So I go all the way up to like the hills, Night City Hills or something, and I go to the grave, and it's like, "Andrew, my tortoise," and that, I sunk in my chair because the fact that he had no one to talk to and he spoke to a tortoise for like the longest time and had so much love and care for this tortoise. Just, it broke my heart that this tortoise died, but I was so happy that like he had something to talk to and someone to talk to. Because we need to stop undervaluing pets, because they are very important to some people. So we should never shit on people for having pets and thinking that, like, you know, oh, they're my best friend, like that's good for them, because, you know, it's a way of like relaxing. You know, they are considered a friend, they're considered part of the family. So when they pass away, that plays a part, and that, you know, takes a toll on someone's mental health, because, you know, they have a soul to them and they're like, they matter to them. So we can't be like, oh, it's just a fucking tortoise. Like, that's such a bullshit thing to say. My V could have said that, but my V was like, nah, man, the tortoise really meant a lot to him. So we go to Montez and the other girl, I think her name's like Lillian or something, and is like, hey, you guys were just really shitty to him and just treated like his problems like they were nothing. And he's like, oh, he just needs to man up and shit. And he's like, so why is he crying? And he's like, oh, he lost someone, Andrew, a tortoise. And before Montez even says anything, V goes, Andrew was the only one he could talk to because none of you guys were listening. And then Montez was like, I got to button up. So he like walked over, knocked on the door, and was like, I really want to talk to you. And Barry says, get in. And that's the end of the side quest. I hope I can still see Barry again and talk to him. But you see what I mean? The writing, like, oh, I really loved that so much. But yeah, Cyberpunk. I hope there's more side missions. I don't want to skip any side missions in this game, because I want to experience all the subtle writings and shit like that people have done, and all like the hidden away messages and stuff. But yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for coming, everyone who's been in the stream. You've been off and on. I've seen on my like OPS people off and on and shit. I'm gonna post this on YouTube. Hopefully it posts. Fingers crossed. But yeah, stay safe, wash your hands, social distance, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.